Hello, I'm Elaine Kuzmeskus, a professional astrologer certified by the American Federation of Astrologers in Tempe, Arizona, the author of 10 books on metaphysics, including soul cycles. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to focus on the new and full moons in November of 2024. The new moon will be in the morning, approximately 8:47 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, in the sign of Scorpio at 9 degrees and 35 minutes. Scorpio is not the happiest place for the moon because it's opposite its exaltation in Taurus. So it makes people a little more critical, perhaps a little more practical, but it is very good for things to do with repurposing and recycling. My teacher always used to say a good time to get a bargain or a sale is to go shopping when the moon is in Scorpio. Well, this particular moon in Scorpio is making different aspects. For one thing, it's making us probe deeper into our psyches, into our feelings about democracy, the presidential election, and how we feel in general in the way the country's going, which I think is a good thing because sometimes when we're dissatisfied, we go deeper in our thinking and we are able to establish truth. We also find that the moon does trine Saturn, so this is very good for organizational work. For those of you at the home office, this is a good time to go over your files and reorganize them. It's also a wonderful time to get the backyard ready for the winter, to get your wood in for the winter season and get the garden put to rest. But it's also a time that we will find with Venus in Sagittarius, where people are going to want to have a little bit of fun before the winter season. It's a wonderful time for friends, sporting activities, and the great outdoors. We also find that if you decide to travel, allow a little more time and space, as the Venus in Sagittarius makes people wanting to go very quickly. We note also that Mars will be in Cancer opposite Pluto, which is going to be very interesting for the beginning days of November because people are going to find a lot of dissent, and it's political dissent. It's people polarizing more than ever. So it's important to keep an even mind, allow others to have their say, and realize that we could go in either direction. We could go in a direction where we're supporting the country or a direction where there's going to be sacrifice. And we hope, of course, always that the best candidate will win on November 5th. Well, speaking of November 5th, we talked about one event coming up. We also note on November 4th, we find that there's an aspect where Mars will be going into Leo. So look for a media blitz. And I also, as we looked ahead at the elections on November 5th, Tuesday, we find there's going to be some very close results. In fact, razor thin. So I predict the election will not firmly be settled until Saturn goes direct, which will be on November 15th of 2024. In a moment, I'm going to talk about the full moon and give you more information about how that's going to affect us. The full moon in November occurs on November 15th at approximately 4:28 p.m. It'll be in the sign of Taurus at about 24:01 degrees of Taurus. Now the moon is very happy in Taurus because it's in its best position. So when the moon is in Taurus, people like to focus on their creature comforts, good food, and stability. However, this is not going to be a very stable time because the moon in Taurus, which ordinarily is peaceful, conjuncts the dynamic planet Uranus. And as such, it stirs up some of our traditional values and ideas. At the same time, we have to realize that a full moon, we have the sun in Scorpio, the moon in Taurus, we have a lot of emotional energy going on. And we find that during this period, people will begin to look a little bit differently at their material values. It might, for example, be a period when people are more conservative about spending because of the conjunction to Uranus. Or it could also be a time when people dramatize their feelings, Obviously, by this time, we'll know which candidate won, so there could be a repeat of people say, well, the election was rigged or my candidate didn't get a fair shake. So there's going to be a lot of disgruntled energy. We also find at the same time Mercury is in the sign of Sagittarius. And Mercury in Sagittarius is very outgoing energy. It favors sporting activities, the outdoors, and it also is opposite Jupiter. So everyone's going to have an opinion. And we're going to be very busy with the travel season starting about the 15th of November because, of course, it's the Thanksgiving holiday. After the election, you're going to see a massive shift to travel out within the United States. And I think it's important for people to pace themselves, to realize there may be some delays, and also with Uranus conjunct the moon, that people have to realize that there may be transportation issues. In other words, delays with flights, trains, or even buses. Fortunately, if you are flexible, it's going to be a beautiful and glorious Thanksgiving because people have so much to be thankful for in this country. Besides being free, full of faith, and a democracy, we also have people that are generous and very giving to people around them. And this idea of generous nature and compassion for all people is going to be very evident during our Thanksgiving season. So I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. If you've missed any of my moon reports, you can always go to my webpage on www.theartofmediumship because every month I post a hard copy of the new and the full moon cycles for you to go over. There's also, if you're interested, in a person of the month and famous people born under that particular sign. So I hope you'll take advantage and go back to that website and enjoy the information there.